authority or motivation in their lives until they become a graduate into the criminal justice system. We've got to stop that. I see some of my friends from Mad Dads that are here and down floor, and I see Dr. Jones and myself as Mad Dad moms. People do not realize. And I also see my hurting family's friend, Ms. Dyson. You just do not realize what we see in those neighborhoods. There's some people hurting out there. Not apparently are even our better students safe in Jacksonville. Whether they are quietly doing their homework in their bedrooms or riding a car to visit a friend. What kind of community do we have when the prospect of death by random shootings can seem like more of a concern for some students than looking toward graduation or even going to a prom? They're so afraid that their lives will be shortened by a gun. The jobs in the local economy. When it comes to jobs, Jacksonville has made some progress, and that should not be ignored. Yet the actual statistics paint a very disturbing gap between the promise and the reality. Not too long ago, there were 12 bankers, regional presidents, vice presidents, and etc., who went on a bus tour with me. I wanted them to understand that the millions and millions of dollars that they stated that they were putting in the community, it wasn't there. In fact, the community was getting worse. The thing is, when the monies are passed to various organizations, it never gets to the people who need the money. The money goes somewhere else. And what happens? We don't have resources, and we wind up with children looking for jobs. Stealing, robbing, and killing. The city finances, likewise. The city has failed to adequately plan to meet its own financial obligations. As I have served on the city council, I have seen at first hand how we have failed repeatedly to set aside the necessary funds as required by law to provide for the retirement of the Jacksonville police and firefighters. We have shortchanged ourselves in terms of our ability to adequately maintain revenues by failing to take timely action that might have forestalled much of our present financial problems. And some people say, well, what have you done? I have tried to repeal the fees. Then they have the support. I have tried to stop the hurting of so many of our seniors. They have been ignored. And many of them are losing their home. Just here recently, I was told that a bill I put out will never be passed because we need that money. For what? There are people losing homes. We're talking about tax revenues. That will bring money into the city. And you need that money for a baseball field or for some recreation when people are losing homes? I didn't listen. I wrote that bill and did what I had to do, and my Heavenly Father, it went to the people, $112,000 to save the community. Daring me doesn't work. It's about time they understood that. Through the questionable practices of the JEDC. And some people ask me, well, you don't like the JEDC? No. And the reason why there's no accountability. When you tell me you have 200 jobs here and 200 jobs there, you have 300 jobs here and you have 1,000 jobs there, and you continue to see the unemployment rise, well, who are these people getting those jobs?
All right.
Are they from our communities throughout the city? No. How about the money and the high salaries? Is that Yes. But are not us.
All right.
I've been told that the reason why we don't put you in certain positions or give you certain things and, how to say, high profile, is because you won't do what you're told. Now, you know that's the wrong thing to say to me. I can't tell you what I said. But the point is, we've got to stop manhandling people who want to do right and let them do right. What happens is that people suffer. That's not what this city is about. I was born and raised here. I was here when they had signs in Hammond Park, colored water, white water. But we have grown from that. We must grow from that. It makes no sense that we carry so much hate and fear of each other.
Yeah.
I have gone places, and they told me I'll never make friends. And people have talked about me because they said I would put on a shirt that had a flag on it. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with reaching out and letting people know you care about them. Because if you reach out, you can change their hearts. And that's what I'm about, changing hearts, changing minds. Putting young people in a place where they're supposed to be. It's not for all of us old folk to sit there taking over and just draining the coffer of the monies. Look at the young people out here.
Yeah.
And my son that just left him, Jimmy. They should be in positions to help run this city and make it right for all of us and not tell us untruth about certain laws. See, certain times I stop asking general counsel about something because I use my own lawyers on the outside to tell me the truth.
All right.
A divided community. As I have said, Jacksonville has a richly diverse, if relative unknown history of people from different races, nationalities, and backgrounds working together to build a better future for themselves and their families. Just look at the faces of the people right here. We're not all one color. We don't all come from one nationality.
Right.
We are diverse.
Yes.
And we better learn that. And we better deal with it the right way.
Yes.
A major part of the reason for our community's continued inability to capitalize on its many assets has been its lack of overall vision of what kind of city it wants to be in the future. Aside from its natural position as a national and international transportation hub, more on this in just a few minutes, Jacksonville should be an eco-tourism center, second to none. Yet, because of the lack of visionary leadership and our inherently flawed planning process, we have proceeded in exactly the opposite direction, making decisions that favor the well-connected few at the expense of the collective of the entire city. That means all of us. Indeed, in describing the way that decision-making previously works in Jacksonville, it would not be inaccurate to say that the immediate wants of the well-connected few always seem to outweigh the long-term needs of the many, reflecting an equally fundamental flaw in our process of government. Planning in Jacksonville has almost always seemed a purely facilitative role as opposed to its primary role in anticipating better, positive future options for our residents. A group of people getting together should not say how our destiny is going to be.